morning. Thank you for joining us today for the iFabric Corp investor update. Symbol on the Toronto Stock Exchange, IFA, over the counter, IFABF. With us today, we have Hilton Karen and Hilton Price, Hilton the CEO and Hilton Price the CFO. The company has an expansive suite of technologies, including antimicrobial, antiviral, and water repellent, as well as chemical formulations that render fabrics intelligent. The last 2 months has been very newsworthy for the company. Most importantly, they've had phenomenal year-end results. Year-end was September end 2021. And I'll turn it over to Hilton Karen to discuss that. So there you go, Hilton.
Thank you, Jessica, and good morning, everybody. And thank you for taking the time to be with us this morning. And as Jessica said, the last few months have been a very exciting time for the company. We've put out record results, and we believe that we are poised in 2022 to not only meet but exceed those performance levels. Before we get into Q&A and any update or question from any audience member, I'm going to turn it over to our CFO, Hilton Price, to just go through the last quarter and the year-end results, please.
Thank you, Hilton. Good morning, everybody. We put out a fairly comprehensive press release on our annual and Q4 results. If anybody's interested, they're available for viewing on SEDAR or on our website. I believe it's www.ifabriccorp.com. As Hilton mentioned, we had a record year in 2021. Quite proud of that. Revenues came in just under 20 million compared to 11.5 million last year, an increase of 72%, which I think is quite impressive. The breakdown in revenues is for those that are interested. Intelligent Fabrics division contributed 79% of our revenues compared to 70% last year. So you can see a trend there. Intimate apparel, which was depressed for most of 21 through closing of stores during the pandemic, contributed 20% compared to 29% previously. We hope that we'll see an improvement there. Sales have started to rebound, and I think we're going to have a reasonable year this year, given the status quo, and hopefully things will remain as is. Gross margins, 39% in 2021. 37% in 2020, small improvement. And a quick word on margins. I think over time, we'll see margins improve as our intimate apparel division rebounds further, and our online or our own brand sales gain some traction as these programs carry high margins. Hilton, I think, will speak to this in more detail later. I don't want to get involved in the own brand stuff. We're excited by it, and Hilton will speak to that when he delivers his speech later or answers questions, whatever is going to happen. So earnings from operations, 2.5 million in 2021, 1.2 million loss last year, 3.7 million turnaround. Pre-tax 3 million compared to a loss of 700K last year, again, a 3.7 million turnaround. I think that's very impressive as well. In terms of our balance sheet's extremely strong at the moment. Working capital, 18.4 million compared to 5.7 million last year. That's a 12.7 million increase, mainly attributable to capital raise that we did earlier in the year, as well as the earnings for the year. They both contributed to increasing the working capital. If one excludes a term, well, it's a demand loan, but actually we pay it like a term loan of 1.2 million, which is used to finance our building. Our working capital actually in real terms is 19.6 million, which is just close to 20 million, which is excellent. I think that's more than sufficient to finance the growth that we're anticipating. Current ratio, 5.5 compared to 1.76 last year. A very good improvement. I'm very happy about that. It's a very strong ratio. That's dealing with the annual. Dealing with the quarter, we had revenues of 5.2 million compared to 3.6 last year, an increase of 1.6 million, 44%. In terms of contributions to revenue, Intelligent Fabrics, 75% compared to 71% last year. Intimate apparel, 24% compared to 25% last year. Actually, we have some other segments. We have some rent that we receive on our building through outside tenancy. They contributed a small amount, I think it's 1%. Gross margin for the quarter, 32% compared to 43% last year. That's really related to the mix. As I said before, I expect margins will come up as the mix changes going forward. In this quarter, we did a lot of lower margin business, particularly with Walmart. Those programs, whilst they are higher in value, do carry lower margins. Pre-tax earnings for the quarter, 301,000 for 2021, 388,000 last year. We had a slight drop, and that's attributable to some bonus accruals that we did at the end of the year, as well as expense increases, mainly in the form of staffing increases. We've taken on a number of extra people to support the higher growth. Obviously, that costs money, and you spend the money ahead of actually deriving the benefits. So that's why we experienced that small drop in the quarter in terms of earnings. And I think that's the, in a nutshell, summarizes, I think, adequately the quarter and the year.
Thanks, Hilton. If anybody's got any questions after, I'm just going to give a few remarks now, and then I'm going to open it up to a Q&A. But I think that the highlights have really been a year of delivering record results. And I think that if one really appreciates our cycle with our customers, is an 8 to 12 month cycle from the time they take a program to the time it's delivered and on the shelf. So these programs were actually put in during pandemic, during 2020 into the early part of 2021. So it speaks really highly of what our customers really appreciate in terms of what we deliver for them. And that's why we are bullish, because we know what we've got on order and we know what programs we're going to deliver in 2022. And once again, all our outlook and all our statements have been made without us getting our final EPA registration, which we just put out a release earlier this week that we're expecting by the end of this quarter. So if one takes the increased growth that we know we're getting from generic growth and from new programs, and then one adds getting EPA, and we're doing a clinical trial in this quarter, the result of that could be the end of this quarter or probably early part of the following quarter that we get the results of the clinical trials. We believe that our business is only on the uptick and on the growth in terms of a comparison to 2021, and we really are excited about that. And to that point, we had about 10, 12 investors did a site visit a few months ago when we finally were able to get physical people into our building. Well, they wouldn't recognize the building today because over the holidays we did a major renovation, and we have anticipated the growth, and we've needed to use the space for more warehousing of more programs. So to that effect, we've actually reduced our office space by 50% because so many people are working from home and flex time at the office. And we've added the capacity of about 8 to 10 more containers under our roof so that we don't need third-party locations, and we can control the inventory under our own roof. So we've really put a lot of steps in place to continue to control and feed our customers and supply our customers. And we're really looking forward to 2022. There's exciting times to come. And certainly the culmination of EPA and our clinical trial in the next few months is really exciting for us. We've worked long and hard for it, and we should all start to see the benefits of those programs. So with that, if anybody does have any questions, if you could please type in, and myself or Hilton would be happy to entertain them.
Okay, well, I'll start with a couple here. You've answered a number of the ones that we already had, but with the EPA kill claim very close, do you find that partners are now wanting to ramp up orders with you already?
So that's a question that's been posed to me for the last week, and I've been getting it hard and heavy. I think people have to understand that our partners have appreciated the chemical and the science part of this equation, not the marketing side of it, well in advance of us getting the claim. And they've been with us all this time, and they've been producing product with the chemical at that level already. It's already product they've been shipping, and it's product in their warehousing. So to that effect, the only thing they're going to need when we get our EPA is a marketing hang tag that they'll be able to put onto the product they've already got to be able to ship it and probably get a premium for their product. And then the only benefit that will happen from that is they will expand the amount of offers that they have with that certification and with that marketing label. So, I mean, we've been priming the pump, should I say, for a long time. This is not something that we just woke up a week ago to prime the pump. And we've had people and our customers, more than investors, are excited about the impact that this is going to have on their business. So we just have to deliver the final document and they will be going full hog and we will see the benefits of what we've put a lot of time and effort into.
Can I add something there? If the clinical trials prove out successful as we think they will, I can't see that there's going to be many health networks or hospital networks in the US that will not take these programs into their environment, because I can't see how they could refuse to do that if the empiric evidence shows that they would benefit from it. So I believe our partners there have a wonderful opportunity to expand their business where they don't have customers at the moment.
Oh, certainly. Yeah. I did have one question if there was any risk to the EPA not following through, but you've gotten this far. I don't think there is much risk from what you described to me, Hilton.
Our attitude is it's not done till it's done. However, we believe that what we have passed and what they've asked of us, we've passed every single level. And we have had conversations with them that they understand that there's no longer time for conversation. We just need to get this thing done and put to bed. And basically, as per the very last conversation, we didn't put the last release out lightly. There is no more requirements from us. So with that said, what else can you extrapolate from that? Then we've accomplished everything asked of us. So now the only thing left for them to do is to give us our registration.
And you did mention to me that you had approached Health Canada as well. Do you think with the EPA claim that'll be just a given that Health Canada
Not at all. Not at all. Health Canada are completely independent of EPA, and there are many, many drugs and really widely used globally that Health Canada will not approve. Health Canada are a tough agency to work with, and we will approach them. We have had some conversations at a lower level, but it is not going to be a quick and it's not going to be an easy exercise. I don't see that having EPA is going to hurt us in any way, but in no way would we infer in that that's going to guarantee us getting Health Canada. However, we will definitely go after getting a Health Canada designation. I would like to talk to the investors for a second, because a lot of them have sent me many an article about masks and about other products that have received Health Canada approval. And I can just summarize that if they read the actual claim and they read the actual language of whatever anybody has achieved, they have not one of them have achieved it with technology. They've achieved it with the amount of physical layers in their product, not with technology. So where they say they've got graphene or whatever other technology, it's the actual physical layers of fabrics that they've put whatever technology on in order to get a Health Canada. If they took the technology off the product, they would still be Health Canada approved. So please understand that there's no technology that is Health Canada approved by the technology by itself.
Interesting. I'm sure you've seen your Under Armour mask sales go up a little bit with the Omicron virus running rampant.
Yes.
So that's good to see. Yeah. So a couple questions here from the audience. Can you provide any updates on how products are performing and selling on Amazon? I personally am an owner of a week's worth. I'm enjoying them, I can say, but if you can expand on that.
It's a slow rise. It's going very nicely. Our biggest product online that we're most excited about is a line that we're bringing out ourselves this spring, which is called Versus All. And that's going to give us the most bang for the buck. We still do very nicely with our margin selling to Amazon, and that business is only going to grow and grow. I can say on the lingerie side, in 2021, we tripled our turnover from the year before on Amazon. So we are getting better and better at what we're doing on Amazon, and they certainly are the powerhouse online sales vehicle. So we will continue to look for exciting numbers out of that program. However, our own Versus program, which we're going to launch by next quarter, where we're going to go direct to retail with our own brand, with our own product, and of course with our own technologies on it, should have a significant impact on the business going forward. So we're excited about launching that as well.
And that's on track. So that's great for timing. That's great.
Yep.
Okay. Other questions. Any update on the hard surface treatments and laundry additive?
No, those are really things that we're working on, and they require so much science and so much additional work that they're not things that are going to be. I think that once we get EPA, that will give us a resurgence in terms of who's going to be interested in taking that on. So I think that we're going to really finalize those products in the next couple of months, but it's not something that we've really set ourselves a very high bar. When one talks about hard surfaces, the biggest challenge to hard surface is not initial efficacy, but it's long-term durable efficacy. And that's the last part of the puzzle that we're busy working with to try to get somewhere between 6 to 12 months residual efficacy. So we're having phenomenal results with initial efficacy, but, one does a formula, one has to tweak a formula after tests. This is not a 1-month exercise. This is something that takes trial and error, and we are making progress. So we're working hard to get that put to bed.
Okay, super. Now you did have a win as far as a lawsuit goes with the Chinese supplier that you announced just after Christmas, I guess, for $2.95 million. This question kind of pertains to that. Can you speak to mitigating the risk with China, ensuring supply, maintaining intellectual property, etc.?
Well, the challenge with the world we're still living in now, especially being Canadian, is we still are restricted in terms of how much travel we can do. So with that in mind, we're doing our best to continually supply our customers. We are looking at other countries for supply. However, Bangladesh, Cambodia, a lot of these countries which do have more favorable labor rates than China these days, unfortunately, their structure in terms of raw material and supply of the core fabrics still isn't up to speed. So most fabrics and most raw materials, whether it's other countries in the Asian perimeter, besides, China and Taiwan, that's where most of the raw materials and fabrics that our products are made with are sourced from. So we really are going to continue and hopefully we'll start traveling again sometime, please God, this year, that we can start looking at alternate sources. However, the core product, as I say, will still come from China, and we have to still deliver our products to our customers this year and keep programs moving. So it's an easier ask than it is the reality. When one onboards a new supplier, one doesn't just take 100% of your product and move it to an unknown. You don't know their quality. You don't know their delivery abilities. And so one has to be rather responsible from our business point of view and from our customers' point of view to onboard new supply chain in a slow and methodical point of view. We are actually looking to hire our own sourcing people in Asia who've got on the ground knowledge of additional factories. So we will continue with that effort, but it's going to be done in a slow and methodical and with enough checks and balances that it's not going to interrupt our supply chain.
Okay. And just on the supply chain issue, you had some good luck before Christmas getting some shipments in. That's continuing. No more bottlenecks at all for you guys?
I can't say that we've had 100% record of late. Yes, we've had a few shipments that have been delayed. It hasn't impacted our customers. And they, a lot of what we do is not seasonal. Some of it is, but a lot of our programs are 12 months of the year programs. So we're working very closely with our logistics and with our customers to make sure that whatever we couldn't ship in, for example, in Q1, they'll take in Q2, and there's absolutely been no headache. It has been, honestly, to say that we've been 100% unimpacted by the shipment is really of late. We've had a few delays. It's been a week here, 2 weeks there. It's not instrumental in the bigger picture. And what we've done going forward is we've just buffered our supply chain by ordering more sooner so that we make sure that our inventory levels are probably as high as they've been in the last year at our various locations. And so we will continue to monitor that and do our best to deliver with as little interruption, supply chain interruption.
Okay, super. You're doing better than a lot of people, that's for sure. Been waiting for...
We've done pretty good so far.
Yeah.
Listen, we just keep on top of it as best we can.
One question I had on Spring's window fashions, you've been very successful with that contract thus far. Did you want to expand a little bit on the fact that they're growing, how much they're ordering from you going forward?
Well, the gentleman who could give us more color on that is not on the call because he's actually doing business while we're talking. We're not making money, he is, which is a good thing. So, no, Springs have got a long-term program. None of these big international, multinational big players onboard technologies and onboard companies like this for a short-term relationship and for a short-term goal. So I think that there's no question. We onboarded them a couple of months ago. As I said, it can take a year, 18 months before you see these things hitting the shelves. And by the time they put these programs in, all I know is they've ordered initial product from us. We can't control their production cycle and when product will hit the shelves and when recurring revenue. But there's no question that that's going to have an impact on our business going forward. Same thing goes with Tumi. And we've got new additional licenses that we're in negotiation right now in new segments that we will release once we sign these additional. So we're only growing. And as I say, none of these multinational companies are onboarding us without serious impact of what that is going to do. Keeping in mind, once we've got clinical trials, once we've got EPA done, that's going to take their interest in us. I mean, they're interested in us without that, and they've signed these agreements without any guarantees of EPA or clinical trials required. They just see the science compared to a competitive product. So it can only bode well for us when we've got all these guns blazing in terms of how much residual business and how much growth potential all these big companies have for our business.
Okay, that's a great answer. And you've answered another one of my questions. From the audience, any update on the antiviral air filter program that was announced in October?
Yes, we've shipped them their first order, so they're hard at it in terms of going after a customer base. I know they've got some global players on their horizon. So once again, it's going to be a bit of a slow initial period. The air filtration business is a great marketplace to be supplying into. So once again, this was not really something that we had focused on. They just learned about our technology and saw a wonderful opportunity for them. However, I will say they have a license for what is called a pre and a post filter, which is a medium that goes either side of a filter. It's not for the actual filter itself. So when we catch our breath and we have additional horsepower, the air filtration business is actually another market that we are going to go through, not through an agency, not through another company, but we're going to go after that market ourselves. So we have been very clear in terms of what we've allowed them to go at, what part of the market they can go after. The actual air filter medium business is way bigger than a pre or post filter, and that's a market we're going to be going after ourselves.
Okay, terrific. So that could be a whole other line of revenue that we're not seeing yet at all.
Yeah.
And then I guess you've already kind of alluded to this, but can we expect any significant customer contract announcements in the near future, which I think we can, given what someone else who's not on the call is working on?
Right. We've got some additional really household names is the kind of customers that who these people are. It's in product segments we've never touched on before. which is really brilliant. We've actually passed their initial test phase. So now we're talking about an adoption phase and what the contract will look like, because certainly when we do give exclusivity, it comes with minimums and minimum revenue for us. So we've really got, yes, I cannot give you a date because once again, these are big companies with European subsidiaries, and they need to get sign-offs at all different legal and other areas before we get our signature on the paper. But we're well advanced with other markets and other international product suppliers.
Okay, I think those are all the questions I had, and I don't see any more from the audience at this point. Anything else you want to touch on before we close up here?
I think Hilton Price said it very well. We are really financially very well positioned to really double our business even from a record year. So there's really no reason why we can't continue to outperform our prior results, and that's really what our focus is. In the business is we've got exciting opportunities. Our customers have repeated again for another year. Every single program that we've had last year has been repeated and bigger. So we only anticipate growth. And I think that we're going to look at better margin as we grow. So, head down, working hard, and we're going to continue to perform.
Awesome. Well, thank you. If no one else has any other questions, I think we can wrap it up there. But congratulations on a great year, and looks like a phenomenal year coming up. So looking forward to lots of news.
Stay tuned.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Take care.